Welcome back everyone. Let's open our Unity Hub and then under the Projects tab, click on Unity Basics C# tutorial. It will load the Unity project for us. Now a new Unity project may take some time to load initially when you are launching it, so be patient. Okay, our Unity project is fully loaded. So the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to create a new C# script. There are several ways we can do that, and we'll learn all of them gradually one by one. So the first way you can create a new C# script is by going to the project window here, then go to Assets, and then right click anywhere on this empty space, go to Create, and then C# script. It will create a new C# script and Unity will name it New Behavior Script by default. If you double click it, the script will open on Visual Studio Community. Now I want you to remember an important thing. Look here after public class. It shows the name of our script, which is New Behavior Script, which is an exact match of the name on our Unity editor. So on the Visual Studio Community, it is New Behavior Script, and on the Unity editor, it is also New Behavior Script, exactly the same. Now let me close the script and go back to my Unity editor. Let's say for some reason I want to change the script's name to print on console from New Behavior Script. To do that, right click on the script, then click on rename, and then change it to print on console. Now if you double click on the script again, it will take you to Visual Studio Community. Now notice one thing, the name hasn't changed on Visual Studio Community automatically. If these two names are not an exact match, it will create problems and our C# script will not work. For instance, if I want to add this script to a game object, it will give me an error. So let's try to add this script to the main camera game object, and as you can see, it is giving me an error which says can't add script. Okay. To fix that, let's go back to our Visual Studio Community and change the name to print on console. Now look at this yellow line here on line 5. This yellow line indicates that a change has been made on this line, but it was not saved. So if you press Ctrl+S, if you're on a Windows computer, it will save the script for you. Now notice the bar here, it has turned to green from yellow, which means our script has now been saved. So let's go back again to the Unity editor and let's try to add the script again to the main camera. Okay, now as you can see, it is still saying that we can't add script. So there must be some error going on. So what is going on here? Notice on our Visual Studio, the class's name is print on console, but this O here, it is a capital letter. But on the Unity editor, it is also print on console, but the O here, it is a small letter. So they are not exactly the same. So let's fix this. I'm going to change this capital O to a small o, then save the script again. Now let's go back to our Unity editor and try to add it to the main camera. Okay, now as you can see, the print on console script is now attached to the main camera game object. So it is working. We want to develop all the good habits from the early stages of our game development journey. So one good practice is to organize all your same type of assets under folders. So you will know where to look for them if you need them later during your project. So we'll create a new folder and name it scripts, and then drag our print on console script into this folder. So right click, go to create, go to folder, name it scripts. Now we will drag our print on console script to the scripts folder. So in future, all the scripts we'll be creating, we'll put them in this scripts folder, and we will exactly know where to look for them if we need them. Another thing to remember is that a script by itself will not do anything. A script needs to be attached to a game object in order for it to work. A game object can be anything that is in our game. The most obvious ones are characters, items like a sword, gun, house, coin, etc. Even the camera, sound effects, power-ups, spells, and pretty much everything else in a game are game objects. To check what game objects we currently have in our game or within our project, go to the hierarchy tab here, and as you can see, we have only one game object, which is main camera. Well, we have just started making our game, so obviously we do not have many game objects, but as we go forward, we'll have many game objects. And we will also need to organize those game objects as we just did for assets. Since we have only one game object now, we will attach our print on console script to it for it to work. So there are several ways by which you can attach a script to a game object. One way is to drag this print on console script to the main camera game object here. As you can see, the script was attached to the main camera game object. Now, if you want to remove a component attached to a game object, you need to come to these three dotted lines here, or this three dotted icon, then click on it, and then click on remove component. Now, as you can see, the component was removed from our game object. Another way you can attach a script is by dragging it to the game objects inspector tab. So this is our game object. This is the inspector tab for our main camera game object. So we are going to drag it to the inspector window. And as you can see, the script is now attached to the main camera game object. And once again, we are going to remove it. Now, the third way you can attach a script to a game object is by clicking on this add component button. Then you have to search for the name of the script. So our script's name is print on console. As soon as I type print, it's already showing me on the search window here. So click on it, and now it is attached to the main camera game object. We can also enable or disable a component of a game object. For example, if I remove the tick here beside our script, the script will still be attached to the main camera game object, but it will be on disabled mode. If we need to enable the component again, just click the box again and bring the tick back. Okay, now let's go back to our script and start learning some C# coding. Now follow along with me. You may not understand what is happening right now, but you will get a hold of these things as time passes. So come to line 10 here and type exactly the way I'm typing on the screen. Make sure you have typed precisely the way I have typed it. Press Ctrl+S to save our script. Now let's check now let's check the console tab of our unit editor. So this is the console tab. Don't worry about these buttons right now, but make sure the collapse and the clear on play, these buttons are turned on. On the right hand side, this is the icon for the print log. Next to it in the middle is the warning icon, and the last one is the arrow icon. Make sure all three of these are turned on. If you click on the play button now, you should see hello printed on the console. Sorry, I have actually typed hi, not hello. So as you can see, hi is being printed on the console. If you do not see it, then most probably the print log icon here, it is turned off on your editor. So for example, if I turn it off, you can see our print log command has disappeared. If I turn it back on again, it came back. Now let's type Debug.Log. How are you? Save the script. Go back to the unit editor. Give it some time to compile. Now click the play button again. Now you should be able to see hi followed by how are you on the console. So I guess you have figured out that we use the Debug.Log command to print something on the console. Okay. Now we are going to learn about C# comment. In line 7 here and in line 14 here, as you can see, it starts with 2 forward slashes and the whole line is green. This is an example of a C# comment. Now, comments are used in a program to help us understand a piece of code. As here, start is called before the first frame update. This comment gives us some reference about when the start method will be called. Comments are basically for your own consideration and for other programmers who may work later on your code. So comments are used to explain parts of a code, but they should not be overused. Comments should be used only to describe complex algorithms and techniques, and they should be short and to the point. Another thing is that the compiler completely ignores comments. So to comment out a single line of code, you just put 2 forward slashes in front of the line, and the compiler will execute everything. Sorry, not execute. It will exclude everything from the beginning to the end of the line from your code. For example, as you can see, we have put 2 forward slashes in front of our Debug.Log I command. And as you can also see that the whole line has turned green. Now save the script, go back to our editor, click play. Now you can see only how are you is being printed on the console because the compiler completely ignored the hello command line. So we have learned how to comment out a single line of code, but what if we want to comment out an entire block of code? Well, we can always put 2 forward slashes at the beginning of all the lines of that code block, like I just did. But the most efficient way is to put a forward slash, then an asterisk at the beginning of your code block. And then after the code block finishes, put another asterisk and then another forward slash. Now we can see both these lines have turned green. Save our script. Give it some time to compile. So if we click the play button again, now you can see both these lines have disappeared. So our Unity editor is completely ignoring these two lines here because they were commented out. So this is how you use comment in C#, and we'll be using it a lot initially. So let's move to the next lesson.